But Bayer Leverkusen did actually win the UEFA Cup all of 19 years ago when they beat Espanyol most dramatically. They lost the first leg of the final 3-0, won the second leg 3-0, and then won it on penalties. We're off and running then with Blackburn Rovers playing from left to right as we look here at the back of the Bayer Arena stand. Brett Emerton's playing at right back tonight. The Australian international actually scored for his country last week down at Loftus Road against Denmark. And so many international matches in London last week, you wondered where you were at times.
Well, particularly Australia. I think that Britain's now become their home ground. They have so many players based here, and Brett Emerson's got very happy in the right back position, having been a wide midfield player for most of his career. As we've seen before, John, some of the best full-backs in the world have come from being wide players, and they have such an appreciation of going forward.
That was almost a very lucky break there. It came towards David Bentley, who is on the ball now. And this one is just steered back to goalkeeper Butt, who was actually sent off at the weekend. He only lasted 30 minutes of the game against Eintracht Frankfurt. And his deputy that day, Benedict Fernandez, is on the bench. Now then, what a chance there might be for Rovers here. Oh, what a miss as well. They should have led by a goal to nil. It was absolutely on a plate if he'd made the touch, and Rovers should have been one ahead then.
Oh, what a chance here. What a ball in from Bentley. I think, is it Benny McCarthy? What a chance. Certainly should have been one in front at this stage.
Skidding across the surface, isn't it? The South African international close to what would have been his 16th goal of his first season for the club from Ewood Park.
Nightmare conditions for defenders, John. You know, they know that one slip can be so fatal. Dare I say that there are likely to be a clean sheet in this game.
Back to the two centre-backs. Bayer Leverkusen also play four across the back. They've got a youngster, Callsen-Bracker, alongside Haggui, who was another from the World Cup finals. He played for Tunisia alongside Radi Jaidi, who was a Bolton Wanderers man at that time. Laid forward by Rolfes. And there's an offside verdict. There is Mark Hughes. What a player he was, and what a chance this is as well.
Oh, that's a fantastic chance. Fantastic. It's actually Jason Roberts, I think, actually. Given the benefit of being rusty.
It certainly took Bayer Leverkusen by surprise, didn't it? They were well caught out. It was a perfect ball in from Bentley. We
saw it in the last round against Spurs, John, that they're not great defensively, and Spurs could have scored four. There's similar situations, particularly in the second half, wide open goals. And
there is Jason Roberts then, the former Wigan man, his nephew of Cyril Regis. I'm sure you played against Cyril a few times.
Top player, big Cyril.
He was a big player.
One of the fastest men in football.
Well, the clearance there from the defender, Castro-Bracker, hit his own man, but it's found a way out to that right-hand touchline. Now he's laid back for Castro. Spanish name, but actually plays for the German under-21 side, the right full-back Castro. This is inevitably coming to the other side, though, to the Croatian Babic. They can be dangerous in their own stadium. I saw them beat Manchester United here a few years ago, 2002, a couple of goals to one.
They're certainly playing a very fluid system. Schneider has already wandered over to this side. He's had a little spell in midfield. They're varying between 4-2-4 and 4-3-3. They too want to win this game, Leverkusen.
They're quite tight across the middle here. They have two who sit in there. Rolfes and Ramelow. There's another German international of old. That is Ramelow there, the blonde-haired figure. Comes across for Babic. They played all three games at those World Cup finals for the Croatian side. Actually, he went out on the night that Australia went through, so Brett Emerton will know all about him. They played against each other in Germany not so long ago. Pressure from the home side, who have got to this stage by defeating Sion of Switzerland, but only one other victory, which came against the Turkish team Besiktas. They came through in third position in their group, Well, the referee's got involved there. He couldn't get out of the way. It's just a little bit too high, but there might have been a problem there if Voronin had been a touch closer.
Well, Blackburn certainly looking for an offside there, and Voronin looked offside, and so no flag went up, so it sort of go down as a bit of a mischance there, John.
Two guys got a grimace on his face. Well, he took a rap on the ankle, I think.
He kicked into a slightly high tackle. And actually on the continent, that's usually a foul given instances like that.
It was Kiessling who caught him. Two-guy, crucial player for Blackburn Rovers, I always think, in the position he plays.
He's a top player when he has the ball, an old-fashioned schemer. But he does need that defensive strength alongside him, which hopefully Mokoena will give him.
Free kick awarded by referee Fink.
You know, Blackburn having a great season, John. You know, the 10th in the division and still in Europe, still in the FA Cup. Lots to play for down at Ewood Park.
We're taking a look there at the Leverkusen bench. The coach is 41-year-old Michael Skibber. But the sports director here is definitely a name that everybody would know in England, Rudy Vuller.
Top player.
He's the top man here as well. But with the clearance. The pitch is just going to cut up a little bit as it continues to rain here. We're just outside Cologne, for those of you who don't know your German geography. I think we do after the World Cup finals. We saw just about the whole of it. And I have to say again, what a pleasant experience it's been coming here. The people have been delightful.
Hospitality's been outstanding.
Rolfes, who spreads the play, is keenly involved in that role of his, and so is Babic here now, who's held off very well by Brett Emerton. That was good play from Emerton.
It was good play from Everton. Certainly Leverkusen looking for a foul there as Babic burst in behind them. Bit of turn and throw in, bit of pulling. Not par.
You know, it's something we were talking about on the way here, wasn't it? The referees have all these decisions to make, and sometimes they might both be having a little bit of a go. It's 50-50. What do you do then?
Exactly, and the referee's seen that, and I can quite understand his decision of giving a goal kick.
We had a very interesting discussion on the way with Messrs. Barnes and Freund. I'll tell you more about it in a moment, but it was about basically the pressure that referees are put under these days, and they do need help. I think that's our feeling. They need help from whatever source at the moment. From the players, from the authorities, from the public, from everybody, to be a little bit more understanding maybe. Not always easy.
We've just got to start believing in referees again and giving them that confidence, John.
Ramelow driving forward here. And it's just going to be too long. And there's a groan around the arena. Now, as always, we ask you for your text messages here on 5. All you have to do is text the word football plus your comment and your name, and tell us where you are as well. We like to know where you're watching from, and the number for you to text is 888 for your text comments. Look forward to those. There's so much to talk about in the game as always. That's one thing about football, there's never a dull moment.
Blackburn need to get hold of the ball again, John, after a great start, and should have scored. It's gone a little bit towards the home side now, the balance of play. Just need to put a few passes together. No great danger, but the confidence that comes from passing the ball.
One thing I do love about coming to Germany, as well as the hospitality we've referred to already, is the atmosphere in the stadiums. You go to places like Kaiserslautern and here and Dortmund, the atmosphere is absolutely terrific. I do love the game.
Non-stop noise. It's always a cup tie atmosphere here.
I'm sure Stefan enjoyed his time in England as well, with all the Premiership grounds he played on.
It's amazing. He speaks better English than us, John. He's doing very, very well.
I thought your German was excellent last night. Zweibitter.
Swahili, John.
Oh, that's a good ball. That could have caught them out. It was dangerous. Voronin was raiding in just outside that area. So the papers here yesterday were full of the fact that he could well be on his way to Glasgow Celtic next season. Voronin is definitely leaving Bayer Leverkusen in the summer. Free kick Blackburn. Well done, referee. Says the arm was used. Taken quickly and wading through the middle. Roberts with the pushback. Forward it goes. Emerton, and was there a collision outside the area there? Well, certainly Rolfes is not happy with that.
Well, Rolfes had a little tug at him. I mean, Bentley made the best of it, that's for sure, but he certainly had a little tug as he went past him.
Well, Callsen-Bracker across to Haggui, centre-back. Babic. Benny McCarthy's hobbling now. Look, there in the middle of your picture, you can see him hopping up and down on the one leg. Well, they can't afford to lose him. Already unlucky, of course. Matt Darvish has been amongst the goals recently. And, of course, the big one, Morton Gams-Pedersen, who's been scoring those spectacular free kicks. They're going to miss that in the repertoire this evening. Schneider. Yes, lovely ball in. Barbarez was just not able to make much of it. Schneider seems to be playing every time he comes to Germany. He never misses a match, this fella, does he?
No, he doesn't, and he's quite versatile wherever he plays.
He found Ramelow. Ramelow will ask for the return, and then I think he was in two minds somehow, so he lost his footing.
Yeah, he chose the wrong mind.
There's McCarthy again, number 10, the South African international, who's got a couple of goals against Austria Salzburg this season in this competition, one against Basel. And let's see if he can run now. He's suddenly picked up the pace. Doesn't look too bad now, does he? Roberts awaits in the middle, and they didn't read one another's minds.
I think we've got to allow a bit for Jason Roberts. He's been out an awful long time, and see Mark there, sat quite happy with the start that they've made. I'm sure the last thing he said as he went out is, whatever we do, we don't concede an early goal, and they've looked very solid. So I'm saying about Jason Roberts, he's been out a while, and particularly for strikers, you've got to give him a little bit of leeway to find the pace of the game and find his touch again.
It was a massive game for a player to make a European debut. It cost £3 million, of course, during the summer from Wigan Athletic. It's Mark Hughes' 99th match in charge.
They've done very well. Done very, very well.
That's a decent ball again, but he just allowed it to run through. And is this a foul by Emerton? The referee says no. Emerton for the second time. I will say got away with the challenge. It was just a solid effort from him there on Kiessling.
I think the referee was perfectly right. He went down very readily, John.
This is Roberts. McCarthy in the middle. Well, they're hemming them in here, as a result of which it's picked up by Haggui, then by Mokoena. Asking Bentley to do a bit here. He's kept it in. The former Arsenal player, of course, and Norwich City. Lovely ball, lovely cross, and a decent header as well. And Blackburn have created the two best chances of the game so far.
And significantly from down the side. I was just looking at Leverkusen. They look very narrow to me. And you see Bentley here with the ball. Hits a terrific near post ball. McCarthy gets across his mark, but just can't keep the ball down. Terrific, good effort, and 2 strikes to 0 up to now in Blackburn's favour. Should at least be a goal ahead. But as I say, Leverkusen are very narrow, and if they can get the ball wide quickly, they can do a lot of damage there.
Free kick is conceded this time by Stefano Shaw. One of those who I said had played in a European final. He was in the Liverpool side, which won the UEFA Cup against Deportivo Alaves.
Yeah.
And Benny McCarthy, of course, I saw him score those goals for Porto against Manchester United only a couple of years ago. He's played at the highest level.
He has. He's been a long time coming to Britain. There's always been rumours about he's coming here, there, or whatever. And Mark Hughes has actually got him here in the summer.
One thing Blackburn do have is plenty of height at centre-back tonight. I've just mentioned Arnshaw, also alongside him the New Zealander Ryan Nelsen. That's well over 6 foot, the pair of them.
Very important to them. Ryan Nelsen had a great season last year. I'm waiting for him to get fit. So.
Oh, now there was a trick there, and I don't think that they can complain about this. It was Barbarez's ball through, and Kiessling had his legs whipped away from him right on the edge of that 18-yard area. The replay's going to be interesting on this one, I think. There we go. His legs, it was a push in the back as much as anything, wasn't it?
Well, Henchoz's got to be careful. That's his 3rd consecutive foul in silly areas, really, and it could be costly. There's no need for it.
Especially with somebody like Ben Schneider around. He's not a great goal scorer, isn't Schneider, but he has got 5 this year, and 3 of those 5 are coming this competition. This is a critical moment already early in the game. If Schneider can get it up or over around that wall, Rovers might be in trouble. If it is Schneider, and it is, and they don't yield, it doesn't get through, so he has to lift one back in, and that's no problem at all for Brad Friedel.
Yeah, danger, certainly danger. Free kicks in those areas, needless foul, little warning for Blackburn.
There's Brad Friedel, 35 now. Not conceded a goal in the last 3 European ties that Blackburn have played. Good victories over North Sea and Basel, and a goalless draw in Holland against Feyenoord, who have been kicked out of the competition, of course, hence Tottenham having a bye virtually into the next round. Oh, that's a useful ball in! And it's a great save. He was offside, but Benny McCarthy's header was on the mark, and Hans-Georg Butt had to make the save because he didn't know the flag was going to be raised.
Now, the flag was instant, but great movement from the left-back Warnock. He's got to cross the marker there, you see, and Benny McCarthy's got a good header in, but he is clearly offside, we can't argue. But the danger again comes from wide.
They're looking quite useful together, aren't they, McCarthy and Roberts so far, encouragingly for Mark Hughes.
Well, the ingredients are very promising. They're both quick, they're both strong and good in the air, and with a good goal record. Just need to play together to get a little bit of an understanding.
Jason Roberts, of course, was West Bromwich Albion as well as Wigan.
Didn't quite work for him at West Brom, John. You know, this is a chance for him to prove he is a Premier League striker now at Blackburn.
Had a spell at Portsmouth as well, didn't he? It didn't quite work there either, I don't think. The header is from Haggui. I think that was one of the joys of the World Cup, when you see players like Haggui playing for Tunisia and how well they competed in the games they played. Pushing the ball around now. There's a huge gap down the right to be exploited by Castro, possibly. Low ball in from him, and this one is met by Nelsen. And hacked away into the fans over on the far side of this Bay Arena. You can actually stay here. There's a hotel. I remember once operating from here when the match was presented from a certain bedroom.
If you don't like the game, go to sleep.
We're liking it okay. It's not too bad. Blackburn are continuing to give away free kicks in dangerous zones here. And this one won by Voronin. Saw him play in the World Cup quarter-final for Ukraine against Italy up in Hamburg. To be honest, Italy were far too good for Ukraine that night, so we didn't get the best sighting of Voronin or Shevchenko or Rebrov. Blackburn don't want to be conceding here now, and it's got all the way through, and they do concede. Schneider was coming in back post, and Blackburn were really caught sleeping. They were caught napping, and Bayer Leverkusen are leading here by 1-0. And look at the joy on the faces of the fans, if not the coach.
Well, John, we warned of the danger of giving away needless free kicks, and it is danger. You know, it's a great free kick. Unfortunately, the lad who scored has found Benny McCarthy a little bit astray with his mark, and he snuck past him. 1-0 down, really, from what must be their first but only their second attack. You see here, Benny McCarthy.
Callsen-Bracker is coming round the back of there.
He's got right round the back, and he's let him go, and then realised too late.
And they are horrified, aren't they, Brad Friedel and co. Callsen-Bracker, the defender, scores his first ever goal in senior football for Bayer Leverkusen. Ducked into it, didn't he? Ducked away from it as well, Benny. That's what they thought about it, even though, as I say, the coach didn't show a great deal of emotion, his assistant did. Horrible start for Blackburn Rovers here. With 18 minutes played, they trail by 0-0. Now, what's Mark Hughes saying, do you reckon, there?
Well, he's saying, how are we 1 down? We've had the 3 best chances, albeit one of them offside. We've looked the more dangerous side when we've gone forward, and here we are. And the answer is quite simple: silly free kicks.
As though he was making a point to the 4th official, but Bentley with the corner. The usual jostling going on. And yet Blackburn might have been 2 goals ahead.
Quite conceivably. You see there a poor corner from Bentley, who's normally much greater service than that.
I think it was Brett Emerton who ducked. Certainly the fellow who ducked for Germany scored the goal. He ducked into there and it was perfect for him.
He did what a lot of forwards do. He just took his man out and made sure that his man didn't head it, and in doing so the ball ran across the box. No blame at all to the goalkeeper who couldn't come for it. And of course a forward, Benny McCarthy, having a little bo peep at the far post. So
the warning is there for Blackburn. They've conceded 2 free kicks in very, very dangerous areas and paid the penalty.
Yes.
Castro. Ramelow. And that's going to lift the crowd here. It's going to lift the players of Bayer Leverkusen no end. Well, Ewood Park can be hostile for the return visit, of course. And the winners of this match, they've already made the draw, so they know that they will play either Lens of France or Panathinaikos of Greece. That's the incentive to go through. Nelsen is in the right position for this one. Now it's Haggui. I did mention earlier that they've not conceded in the last 3 matches. That Brad Friedel had not been beaten, and it's 335 minutes between those 2 goals. The last one had been scored by Wisla Krakow.
Blackburn need to get their midfield players on the ball. Now Dunn's barely had a kick. 2 guys being quiet. The danger has come a little bit from Bentley's crosses here again.
That's a useful one, and Dunn is there this time. It's funny I should mention him, and then all of a sudden he pops up onto the ball. You must have known that was coming, Joe.
Not so simple.
We've got a funny sequence going of Blackburn at the moment. Their last 8 matches have been 1 lost, 1 lost, 1 lost and 1 lost. So really they should be winning tonight, but they're trailing by 1-0. Oh, that's another one that they've picked out there, taken eventually by Kiessling and picked up then by Barbarez. Too far. And the only person who's going to pick that one up will be the backtracking Blackburn man. Dunn, Warnock on his left. Kiessling was a scorer at the weekend in that 2-2 draw with Eintracht Frankfurt. That's not the way past Haggui. Very wayward there from Castro. I'm not quite sure who he was aiming at with that one. Emerton has been a very, very good player for Blackburn Rovers since he joined them from Feyenoord. Now let's see what Roberts can do here. He's almost left one man in his wake. Just got stymied for a second, and now Bentley will swing one across. David Dunn, the likely recipient. And did it come off Dunn? No, it didn't. It came off the defender of Ramelow, so it's Blackburn's throwing. Blackburn Rovers unbeaten in the competition, and it has been amazing how well the English club sides have done in the UEFA Cup this year. Newcastle, Tottenham, Blackburn, Glasgow Rangers, of course, are still in the competition as well. Nice little touches around the edge of the area. It's 2 against 3 here, the 2 in red. And he waits and he waits and he goes and he still goes, and now he gives to Schneider, and still Schneider. Well, he did pretty well, did Kiessling, and he's still doing well here inside the 18-yard area. So that's not so good, I'm afraid. The ball swung over by Rolfes, but they look handy, those 2 together there, Schneider and Kiessling.
Well, they broke very quickly, John. They broke up a Rovers attack on the edge of their own box, and all of a sudden Schneider and Kiessling were running at the back 4 and dangerous. And
they're looking vulnerable here, Blackburn. They really are, and they could well be. It's Voronin. Should have made it 2, maybe. He went for the near post. He might, if he'd driven it across Friedel, it might well have been 2-0.
Well, great movement there by Kiessling, who took the whole Blackburn defence towards the left back and left this man Voronin here with the goal to shoot at. And as we always say, shoot across the goalkeeper, you might get a second chance. And he screws it hopelessly wide, thankfully.
Off the outside of Voronin's boots. Funnily enough, we were talking earlier about Voronin, and good player, but doesn't score as many goals as he should do. Gordon Strachan will have been watching that with interest. Brett Emerton. Down the line, Bentley. He's having a good season, but can't find his way past Babic. Halfway through the first half here in the Bio Arena, which holds 22,000. Very neat, very compact ground, very colourful ground. Wasn't one of the venues for the World Cup finals though. Too small, I suppose, for them. There were some great venues, there really were. Mokoena back to Tugai. Well, that was nicely done by Roberts in unison here with McCarthy, who has the ball again. Thinks of going for goal. The layoff is there for Mokoena. Then it's with Bentley. 3 in the middle in blue and white. Oh, it's fractions of this, isn't it? That's 2-3 times now Bentley swung the ball in, and it was so close to Jason Roberts on that occasion.
What a brilliant cross again, and he hasn't tried to beat his man. He's just taken the ball in his stride and bent it in beside. The great Rudy Voller would have been there, that's for sure.
He's the one with the white hair.
He'd be celebrating now.
Yes, he would. He would. What a goal scorer he was, Rudy Voller. And of course he managed the German national team, and his number 2 was the champ who's the number 1 here, Michael Schibber. Warnock, former Liverpool player, signed recently for just over £1 million. Actually sent off in only his second appearance against Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup. Always difficult when you move to a new club, settling in. He's just stretched there, hasn't he, with Castro, and the verdict's gone Leverkusen's way.
Talking with the Blackburn officials, they're delighted with him. He's made a great start, they say. He took the chance, give him his credit. He's gone to Blackburn for first-team football. He wasn't guaranteed at Anfield.
Entirely understandable. Bentley tries to flick the ball beyond Babic, who's having none of it. Got to remember, of course, Blackburn without those strikers I mentioned before, Derbyshire and Pedersen, and also Robbie Savage. I mean, he's a key man for Blackburn Rovers with his dynamism in midfield.
I think he's very underrated for the job he does. You know, I'm not saying he's everyone's cup of tea as a great midfield player, but he's certainly a great asset to your team. Gams Pedersen, who scores those rocket goals, and of course Derbyshire, who's been their find of the season. Lots of pace and a willingness to score a goal.
And a couple of recent signings, Chris Samba and Bruno Berner, both ineligible for this competition.
Mark Hughes will be scratching his head. He must be wondering how they're behind at this stage. Brad Friedel still hasn't made a save. They've put 4 excellent crosses across the goal mouth, and they're 1 behind.
And Friedel does stretch, and we're stretching ourselves this week as well. We're heading off across the German border to Belgium tomorrow. The 5 roadshow stopped off in Ghent for another UEFA attraction, Zulte Waregem against Newcastle United. Kick-off their more traditional time, 7:45. We're on air at 7:15. By the way, if Newcastle get through that one, they'll meet either Fenerbahce of Turkey, who they've already beaten once this season, or last year's semi-finalist AZ Alkmaar. This one has gone right across the 18-yard area, across the 6-yard area, and out for a goal kick.
Again, great build-up there. Emerton to Dunn, and Dunn's just cushioned the ball across the 6-yard area. You've got to have the forwards expecting. You've got to have forwards taking a chance. You see here, he can control it and bring it down. Maybe just caught a little bit on his heels there, McCarthy and Robertson. Great chance.
Great chance. The crosses have been good from Rovers' point of view. But the scoreline isn't so good, I'm afraid. If you're just joining us by any event, I know it's an unusual kick-off time for you back home. Bayer Leverkusen have the lead here against Blackburn Rovers. Their goal scorer, very unlikely, is a chap called Jan-Ingvar Callsen-Bracker, and he scored after 18 minutes. There it is, Callsen-Bracker. That's the longest name I think I've ever known for a goal scorer.
You see here that holding, and it's just a simple gimme. You can't do that.
Haggui. Ramelow. He's played hundreds of matches in this stadium. Haggui once more. Out to Schneider. He's played thousands, never mind hundreds. Henchoz. And Tugai. Good to see Ryan Nelsen back here as well. He's had a broken leg. He's had horrible hamstring trouble, which required an operation. Just come back in, and vital because they've lost Andres Oyer, the Dutchman, of course, to injury that they'd signed to play there.
He's a very steady player. He's 7 out of 10 every week. Just dead honest, heads the ball, kicks it.
Now a couple of the substitutes warming up for Leverkusen. Then one of them is a Swiss international, Tranquillo Barnetta. It's a great Christian name, isn't it? Tranquillo, if he's calm.
Let's just hope he doesn't come on.
He's a good player. And another one you saw, Paul Freier. I think you were impressed by Freier last time you were here. He's got some pace.
Well, Freier dragged Leverkusen back into the game. You know, he kept going past the left flank of the Spurs defence, and I thought he was responsible for them nearly getting something out of it. I was very pleasantly surprised when he wasn't in the starting lineup.
Trying won by a goal to nil here. That's the scoreline by which Blackburn Rovers are trailing. With plenty of time to go, an hour in fact. Warnock's clearance. No relation, by the way, to the Sheffield United manager. Two-guy Kerimoglu, give him his full title, the Turk. Emerton, the Australian. And now Jason Roberts, who actually hails from Grenada in the Caribbean. That's dangerous, it's gone beyond McCarthy. And it's, oh dear, just steered away. The last moment, hasn't gone beyond McCarthy. Got there. I thought it was going to be beyond his reach, but he did get there.
Again, a great opportunity. Snuck around the back. Certainly, just play the ball across here. Just play the ball in. Oh, what a chance.
They've had three good chances at Blackburn. They should not be downhearted by the scoreline.
They should not be down.
I really thought that was going to go beyond McCarthy, but he did well, kept it in play. Benny, 15 goals this season. That was touch from Roberts, touch from Bentley. Beyond Mokoena, and McCarthy gets there. And, well, it wasn't a physically beautiful save, shall we say, from George Butt. But it did the job. Oh, they're in trouble again here. It's Schneider. He's got two to his right. And Schneider, oh no, he just fails to pick out Barbarez because of the height on the cross.
Well, that's great fortune for Blackburn, because normally you can take Schneider's quality for granted. And Honcho caught selling himself in the middle of the park, taking a long time to get back. And again, we've seen the quality of Leverkusen on the break. A little bit of a warning sign again.
It was a warning sign, and it is on the break. It's playing almost like an away team at times, Leverkusen. They've caught Blackburn out on 2 or 3 occasions now. That didn't fool him, did it? Babic was not to be fooled by the little step over of Bentley. And this is Babic getting forward now. Barbarez is 2. There's a gap opening up worryingly. Voronin will go for goal. And although it stretches Brad Friedel, it never looked like trouble again.
Well, that's his first save as such. In a very, very fluid system. I would hate to try and pin down where Schneider, Voronin, or even Barbarez are supposed to be playing, but they've obviously been told by the coach the only one who has a solid position up front is Kiessling.
David Dunn, who passed a fitness test to be able to play in this game. He was taken off at the weekend against Everton, early on as well. Well, they've got away with that, really. It found Schneider by the elbow of Bentley. And now it's Carsten Ramelow, former German international. He's retired from international football now. Poor play from Voronin. He showed the ball and then delivered it straight at 2 guys. So there's a race on here for Roberts. 4 red shirts back already. Bentley curls one in. McCarthy. Well, again, that was a last-ditch clearance from Rolfes. McCarthy looked to be in there, and they are worrying Leverkusen defensively, and Dunn will worry them here. He'll drive it across. There might still be something for Bentley, who's been among the goals this season in Europe. He's harried by so many red shirts that he'll be bound to be gapped elsewhere. Mokoena wide. 2 feet wide, I would think, no more.
2 great opportunities in one attack. I'm surprised that Bentley didn't take the left foot shot on when he first came to him. But so many defenders ran at him and left Mokoena free on the edge of the box. Got to hit the target.
Yeah, you've got to make the goalkeeper work, haven't you?
I think the encouraging sign is that, as Stefan Freier told us before the game, they do not look a very competent side defensively, John. You know, there are great chances here for Blackburn to equalise and even go and win this game.
Joe, you're a manager, and I imagine that Mark Hughes can have an big influential role at half-time here. He'll have seen plenty going on out there to encourage him.
He will. He'll be saying, keep getting the ball wide, keep getting in the box, stop giving silly fouls away, and let's get two guy on the ball. Because he can dominate this game for us.
Well, they really have created a lot of chances. They've punched holes in that Leverkusen defence. If you were a home fan, you'd be worried. Well, you have to say, at the other end, Leverkusen have looked like scoring once or twice as well. And they have got the only goal so far. Emerton's taken two out here. He's got McCarthy making a run ahead. He's put too much on the ball, though. As a result of which it is taken clear by Haggui. I was amazed at how sort of Bentley seemed to attract all those players a moment ago. Although four of them went to him, which inevitably left the gap which was almost exploited by Mokoena. Barbarez through to Schneider. Voronin. Ramelow. They are interchangeable, these players, there's no doubt about that. There are three red shirts around the penalty area. It's headed away first time by Henchoz, though. And then at full stretch, there's a touch from the left full-back Warnock. They're all back in defending again here, Rovers. And they're at full stretch to get the ball away. A gap will appear, and it was driven hard and low by Rolfes. It's amazing how many Leverkusen players appear in shooting opportunities. They're certainly not just relying on the front two.
No, they're certainly happier when they have the ball in front of Blackburn's goal than when they're defending their own goal. And they have actually looked quite creative at times.
Which I think we're thankful for, Joe, in terms of the game. Mark Hughes won't be too pleased with the scoreline. 1-0 his team down, but there were some sort of gloomy forecasts about this match that it might turn out to be well, could have been scoreless, shall we say.
It's been a decent half with good chances, and certainly lots to be promising for Blackburn. But as you say, this afternoon we were expecting a rather sterile two sides playing 4-5-1. So here's Mark again.
Now, how do you interpret that? You tell me that.
Let's just say he's not happy.
Definitely not. Well, that's why I think he'll maybe change one or two things around at half-time, if he can. Here goes Kiessling. And it's a goal kick. It was well done by Warnock. He managed to play it off the striker.
I'm looking at Jason Roberts even now and thinking he's a little bit short of his best fitness, John, and it's slightly burlier than I've seen him before. You know, he's a hard, solid player and a nightmare to play against when he's at his best, but he just looks a yard off it at the moment.
There's only the one up here this time, Voronin, and he was offside, which gives me a chance to tell you about an innovation on 5 for you to look forward to in the early hours of Sunday morning. For the first time ever on terrestrial television in our country, you can see full race coverage of the Daytona 500, that very, very famous event in the United States of America. So that's on 5 only, and the time is 10 past midnight on Sunday. In the early hours of the morning. Hope you join everybody for that, and I hope you're enjoying our coverage here from Germany, from Leverkusen.
I'm just thinking there, Johnny, the referees have been very much in the spotlight recently and getting a lot of stick. I've got to say the referee up to now hasn't missed a beat. I don't think he's missed a decision. He's been on the spot. I
think that's one thing we've got to do. We've got to give credit where credit's due with referees.
Yeah.
You know, it is a tough job, and when they're good, let's say they're good.
Well, there's plenty of time for him to make a fool of us, John, but up to now he's been outstanding.
Let's see if they can make a fool of the keeper here. What a strike! Unbelievable strike here. David Bentley, magnificent. Take a bow, David Bentley.
Fantastic strike. Here we've had all the danger from crosses thus far. And there we have the value again of it. Someone who can take a free kick from outside the box. Looks like Mark's too happy, but...
yeah, it did take a deflection, but it was still a heck of a crack, wasn't it?
It seemed to gather pace from the deflection.
But it was a lovely height and everything. He's shaking his head, but he must have wondered where that's come from. Bombshell from Blackburn. Well, yeah. Was it a deliberate little flick in there, did you think?
I think that's taking a flick off maybe Emerton, but no doubt the goal for me is David Bentley's.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give it to Bentley. If you give it to Bentley, we'll all give it to Bentley. We might see better from this angle.
Well, the goalkeeper had no chance at all with it.
We think he was off Ramelow, actually.
Mark Bowen and Eddie Nidzvicki there, celebrating on behalf of Mark Hughes.
funny, isn't it? Neither manager has shown any emotion whatsoever when the ball's gone into the net. That must be hard sometimes. Well, there are managers who do and there are managers who don't. But anyway, it's David Bentley's third UEFA Cup goal, and it could not have come at a better time, 6 minutes before the break.
Well, Blackburn deserve to be at least level, John. I mean, it just restores the balance somewhat.
David Bentley got a hat-trick against Manchester United last season in the Premier League, and he's also scored against Austria Salzburg and Wisla Krakow in the UEFA Cup this season. They're happy now.
Well, he, like Warnock, took the decision that rather than be a reserve player at a very big club, you know, he had Premiership football to come to a Blackburn, a very progressive club, and fair play to him.
And he had a nice little spell at Norwich as well, didn't he?
Well, he wasn't afraid to go out on loan.
Nope. But they've got to be careful again here now. Emerton just gets a tickle on the ball, which is enough, and here is the hero of the moment, David Bentley. McCarthy beaten off the ball quite easily by Haggui.
Having been a front player himself, I'm sure that Mark Hughes will be saying to his front pair, hey, you two, we need a little bit more movement from you. More than anything, we need is to keep the ball.
Movement from Schneider here, and it flashes wide. The lead could have been restored by the veteran Schneider, a man with 75 caps, 14 years.
Brad Friedel there saying, whatever you do, don't bring him in on his right foot. No. He's a very right-footed player. Keep him on his left foot.
It's been an eye-catching game, actually. There have been so many chances in this game, right from the first minute when Rovers might have scored. Schneider's header. I'm glad that got as far as Friedel there from Monchon. I'm not sure he was aware of Voronin's run. Babic. Now Rolfes. Ramelow, who we think got the touch on the goal. It's definitely going to be given to David Bentley. I can't imagine anybody taking that one away from him. Schneider for Babic, both World Cup men. Rolfes again, who was signed for £600,000 from Alemannia Aachen. 4 of this team have played in every single match in the UEFA Cup. Here's one of them, Schneider. Here's another, Babic. 2 key men. Barbarez. Oh, that really went wrong, and Roberts has made a run ahead of Bentley. McCarthy's away to his left. Bentley, well, he was giving it back there. That was very sloppy work in the defence led by Callsen-Bracker, but they've got away with it. I think Bentley was as surprised as we were. Babic. Well, I'm sure Pat Nevin will have enjoyed this. It's the sort of game he loves, isn't it? You know, the ball's fizzing around. As a winger, he'd have enjoyed the width that's been on display in this game. We've seen some great crosses from Bentley, apart from a great goal as well. Not as much of David Dunn on the left, but...
No, he's been very quiet. I mean, and Haggui again, I've mentioned it before, he's got to get on the ball more.
How far is this going to go? It's going to go to Ramelow. Oh, no, that is a horrible deflection. That is so unlucky. It came on Ryan Nelsen, but Ramelow, well, is it his goal? Is it Ryan Nelson's goal? We'll see in a moment, but it's amazing what's going on here. Everything's going in off.
Well, we did say it wouldn't be 0-0. That's certainly the surface. You know, we've seen up to now that the service has played a part. It's certainly 1 goal, maybe 2, and I don't think that's the end of the goal scoring. I see balls on target, so it goes to Ramelow.
Yeah,
the goalkeeper had it covered, but
it's off Nelson's chest, I think, isn't it? Really, Carsten Ramelow, we think was attributed with a deflection at the other end. We'll feel a little bit happier after that.
Well, in that case, he's on a hat-trick.
Yes, he's 2-1 to Bayer Leverkusen. It's been a thrilling first half. Hope you've enjoyed it on 5. You're not enjoying the scoreline if you're Blackburn Rovers fans, but the way the game has gone, there's bags of time for more.
I think Mark Hughes is going to be very angry at half-time.
That was unlucky, though, Joe, to be fair.
That was unlucky, nothing you can do, but just the general, the feel about the game is that this game is there for Blackburn to take, and he'll be saying, come on, you know, we need more from a couple of you midfield players, we need your front men to hold the ball up better and stop giving silly free kicks away.
I think we'd both be surprised as well if they didn't score goals in the home leg, Blackburn, against this team. You wouldn't say that this is a golden era for German football without being unkind to the country. Schalke are the top team at the moment. Bayern Munich are always formidable. But beneath them and possibly Werder Bremen, there's some pretty ordinary sides. We've seen Eintracht Frankfurt this year and they weren't too impressive.
Well, no, and we see at a national level where the national team does well in World Cups because they've always been competition animals who get it right. But it hasn't been really a golden era for producing their great players that we've seen in the past from Germany.
I can tell you one thing, the giant scoreboard here behind the goal, and defended by Butt at the moment, is definitely giving the goal to Ramelow, the goal to Bentley, and the first goal of the night to Callsen-Bracker. The most important thing it is showing is the scoreline, and there it is. Bayer Leverkusen 2, Blackburn Rovers 1. And the referee from Holland, Peter Fink, gets us underway again. Neither side has made a switch. But I think, Joe, that we probably do expect some substitutions later. Difficult. We've talked, you and I, about David Dunn in particular there, who was taken off at the weekend with an injury and doesn't quite look right. No,
it's a long time since he's had a run of games, David Dunn, and we all know about the talent that he has, but he needs to be fit to show that. And he hasn't really got into the game up to now, John. I think that both him and Jason Roberts, I'm sure Mark Hughes will be looking at them very quickly.
OK, thanks, Joe. There's the goal scorer here, Callsen-Bracker. What a day for him. I'm sure you remember your first ever goal, but you've got a few more than Callsen-Bracker will ever get.
Yeah, I think that was a deflection too at White Hart Lane.
What a place to get your first goal. I'm sure you loved it when the ball zipped off the turf as well. All footballers do. That one zips all the way across to Schneider.
John, I don't think it hit the back of the net.
They've created a big gap here, and Schneider's gone on, and there's no penalty kick. And to be fair to Schneider, he didn't try to make out either, I don't think, did he? The referee had a good view of that challenge from Emerton.
The referee was right on the spot, as he has been for every minute of this game so far, John.
Another lively opening to the half. As Pat Nevin said, the first half was entirely enjoyable. Somebody got it rip-roaring right from the very first minute to the 45th minute.
Now they're both going for it, and I think certainly today, I think normally Blackburn are very defensively solid, but both sides look a little bit vulnerable at the back today, so it makes for opportunities. I don't think we've seen the end of the goals, John.
Hope not. And we all know which end we want them to go in. Voronin now. On by Castro. Strong header and a good turn. He's turned Nelsen here. And he'll continue the chase. It'll get as far as Friedel out. There's an unavailing run from Kiessling. Good name for Valentine's Day, Kiessling.
We've been waiting all day for that, haven't we?
No, not really. I was just listening to all those messages during the interval from the Blackburn fans on Valentine's Day. Schneider now. No, my favourite name here tonight, Joe, is one of the referee's assistants. He's called Wilco Lobbert. You don't get too many Wilco Lobberts around. Good turn, Roberts. McCarthy waits, and here is a second. No, should have been a second Blackburn Rovers goal. It really should. Into the diving header went David Dunn.
What a chance. What a chance. You see Roberts at his best, working that inside right channel, strong to the line, and Dunn really has just got to hit the target, get it into the ground and hit the target there.
Could have sworn it was going in. You and I once saw him score a fantastic goal in Holland for the England #21 team. Well, that wouldn't have quite been on the same... yeah, exactly. That's what they think about it.
A great start to the half, John, with 2 minutes gone, and we've had a penalty appeal and a great chance. And you see Mark there having a minor sense of humour failure in the dugout.
What will he have said at half-time to them then?
I'm sure he will have said that we've just got to tighten up. We're going to score more goals here. We need a bit more from the forwards. And come on, you know, let's get about them, because they are not good defensively.
No. The thing they mustn't do is concede another goal here, really. That's the thing, isn't it? Keep a clean sheet in the second half. Get one. A 2-2 draw would be very acceptable, I'm sure. Get them back to Ewood Park and finish the job off there. And then off to Lens or Panathinaikos. Simple as that. Babic. Schneider. What a good player Schneider's been for club and country. Always gives absolutely everything.
Well, he's been Germany's Beckham in style, if not in lifestyle, certainly, and a lot to commend the play.
Touched back by McCarthy, but Dunn could make nothing of it. So Ramelow, who's been credited with that second Bayer Leverkusen goal, did take the deflection off the chest of Ryan Nelsen. Castro. Callsen-Bracker is another of the young generation of young centre-halves coming through in Germany. Per Mertesacker was the one who made it into the World Cup squad. Ramelow, one of those who seems to have been around for an awful long time. Now Barbarez. Swing of the left boot. Schneider will take this one. And he's one-man Emerton to confront him. It is still Schneider. And there are three across the middle. And it fizzes through the area. It was never really going to do any damage unless somebody got a faint touch on it.
Leverkusen's chance to bemoan a great cross and nobody there. Certainly great play by Schneider. Exposing maybe a little bit of defensive frailty in Emerton there. Turning him inside out and a great left-footed cross.
There again, Rudy Vuller. Well, the great centre-forwards. Remember Uwe Saylor and Gerd Muller. But,
that's two he would have had tonight.
Yeah, that's two. And Mark Hughes, even a bad centre-forward, you know.
Top player, Sparky.
Voronin's ball, Friedel's punch, and Tugai. Mokoena's got the gloves on, as McCarthy has. And it's backs to the wall again for Blackburn against Voronin. Gets it back, another chance for him. Mokoena. Well, he'd certainly dug in there. The referee has to duck under the eventual ball, which finds Bentley. Emerton's making a break up the right touchline. Bentley can continue. He's already hit the net once. How about a second time, David Bentley? Well, it's hit row B, actually, but well wide.
Yeah, it's on his weaker foot and he's coming in. It's always a hard one to take, but the lad's full of confidence at the moment. Scored one great goal, have a go for another. I'm sure at the moment he's the darling of the Blackburn fans there, you can see.
Yeah, 1,200 of them have made the journey from northwest Lancashire.
And some lucky girl's got to get 200 fags tonight.
I did hear that one.
Never heard them called substantial before.
I say it should have been Ash Tuesday rather than Valentine's Day. Well, let's have a look at the goals from the first half, and it was, well, there was a duck by Emerton which allowed the ducking header, but this was the equaliser. Bentley cancelling out Callsen-Bracker's effort, and what a strike it was from David Bentley. But then soon afterwards, another deflection off the chest of Ryan Nelsen. Castro Ramelow there claimed it. 2-1 by Leverkusen. And that's how we've reached this scoreline. For those of you who might just be coming in from work, we're already hard at work. We are an hour ahead, of course, of you, so it's just after 7:20 here in Germany. And an interesting 40 minutes of play still to go. So I hope you enjoy those 40 minutes as much as we've enjoyed the previous 50. Warnock, who looks like being a very good acquisition. You were saying, Joe, that the hierarchy at Blackburn are delighted with the acquisition of him.
Yes, a left-footed left-back, a natural attacker with the ball, a very decent defender. Total trivia, he lives in our lane as well at the rich end.
I'm sure everybody needed to know that. At the rich end. No comment. You live in the royal household. Now there's a chance. It's Voronin. His first touch may be heavy. That one doesn't get through, fortunately. And Roberts has done well, powerful, but then his next touch was a bit heavy. As a result of which, possession conceded, having won it back.
John, I think it was a great point that our two pitside experts made at half-time, really, that, you know, two guys got to give a little bit more help to Mokoena in the defensive side, because all the danger's coming just outside the edge of Blackburn's penalty area, where players are getting free and facing up all the time with not a lot of pressure on the ball. It's not from the ball that goes in behind them. That seldom happened tonight. It's all just in front of them, and they just need a better defensive attitude there.
Warnock and Nelsen trading passes. Now Stefan Henchoz in his second spell here, of course. That's a Blackburn, I don't mean Leverkusen. And Blackburn will get the throw in. Can't take it quickly, simply because Haggui won't let him. But he is apologising. That's very nice to see. Fell on deaf ears there. Nelsen across to Warnock. Plenty of blue and white shirts up around the edge of the Leverkusen penalty area. Emerton, I'd like to see him get forward as well. He can do a lot of damage. He's done that for club and country over the years. This is where they can get caught. Schneider makes a run down the left channel and finds a terrific amount of space often. So it would seem to me. Now Barbarez, who was initially named as playing up front, is now playing almost as a sweeper.
It's very similar to the Dutch total football system, as to say we have a back four and everybody else can go anywhere.
Absolutely right. Rinus Michels, the man who created that total football, wasn't it? Castro now. Barbarez has just gone down, but he's picking himself up slowly. And so Castro will continue to gallop down here. Surely will offer the ball up to Kiessling. Kiessling will continue. Barbarez will go down. The referee will make a good decision. That was definitely no free kick, whatever one or two home fans might think. I would think it's roundabout now. Managers start to think of substitutions, though they might have to worry about something else here if this ball is good. It was good. Oh, that is a classic finish. What a lovely little touch from Schneider, which takes the ball in off the base of the upright. That was almost Gianfranco Zola.
Well, it's a great finish, but it's a poor goal from Blackburn's point of view. And having praised young Stephen Warnock and said how well he's done, he's given his last three passes away, and this one's been fatal. He couldn't get back into position. The ball's come across. A great flick there. It looked like he was going to roll right along the line at one stage, but Blackburn need that second goal now. You know, just to give them a really big chance in the second game. There's no one but themselves to blame for this, John. They should not be behind in this game.
Well, you probably heard that. The announcer says burnt and the crowd shout Schneider. And it's his fourth UEFA Cup goal of the season. Scored against Sion, he scored against Bruges, he scored against Besiktas, and now he scored against Blackburn Rovers. He likes anybody who begins with a B from the sound of it, but it was a cute goal. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, he's a clever player, there's no doubt about it. He doesn't sprint these days, he wanders around the pitch, a touch here and a touch there, but he knows what he's doing.
Isn't it amazing? Blackburn don't concede in 3 matches, 350 minutes was it we said, and now they get 3 goals scored against them in 55 minutes. Well, they're all happy down there, there's no doubt about that. But Bentley, Blackburn can come back. It's not catastrophe this, believe you and me. And they've got a corner. They'd certainly like to go away with at least a draw, but if they can get one more back, 3-2 wouldn't be bad at all.
No, it wouldn't be. Of course, what they don't want now is that 4th goal going against them.
That would be awful. That would be awful. They need something here. They need from this corner. There's plenty up there. Half a dozen blue and white shirts in there. It's an awful delivery, but they might make something of it yet with Dunn lifting it in. There's the chip. It's not away very far. It is hooked up into the air though now. No whistle. But a by Leverkusen throw it.
Well, Bentley's all-round game has been good tonight, John, but his free kicks and his corners have been poor. He's hit the first man with several now, 3 maybe 4, and do need a better delivery from him. He's certainly capable of it.
Don't forget to keep those text messages coming. If you need a reminder of the number, it is 888. We just want you to text the word football, plus whatever comment you've got, and tell us where you are. And give us your name as well. We want to know who you are, where you are, and what you're thinking. 888. Roberts here. A tug at his jersey. And a corner one from Jason Roberts. It's hard when you've been out for so long. September, remember, when he last played against West Ham United. It's never easy to come straight back in.
No, and particularly forward players. You know, you can, if you're a holding midfield player or maybe a centre-half, it's a little bit easier, but he needs his energy and his pace. He is a pace power player.
Well, we've got Mokoena, McCarthy and Roberts all inside that 6-yard area. It's dropping out to Bentley. We've seen him flash one into the net, and this is a chip which will be gathered in under the crossbar by Butt. Leverkusen 3, Blackburn Rovers 1, and there's more danger with Kiessling here. On he goes, Kiessling. And Brad Friedel will stop those all day. That's what he does in training as a matter of routine. The big American, who won 82 caps for his country. Kiessling just 4 goals this year, and he's not got any in Europe.
It's been a great signing for Blackburn, having not really had too many games at Liverpool when he first came over. He's never been less than first choice here.
It's Roberts, maybe. The first ball just gets away from him. McCarthy was up alongside Jason Roberts. He almost got in.
He's a powerful boy. That's when he's at his best, when he's almost fighting somebody while he's running, John. But he turned inside on his much weaker left foot, and it was always going to be hard from there. Maybe a pass to McCarthy would have been better.
Well, you said, Joe, you think this game has got more goals in it. We've had one already in the second half, but it's certainly given that impression from the first minute to this minute, which is bang on the hour. End to end.
Certainly has been, and I don't think we're finished yet, John.
Let's hope not. Bentley, well, let's hope not from a Blackburn perspective. Losing out. Good decision from the referee. There was no foul. There are 4 up against 5 here. Kiessling to the 4. He's not the best finisher at the moment. Well, let's go down to the touchline. Stefan Freud's down there, and of course he's with our John Barnes.
Yes, well, Stefan, as John and Joe are saying, there are going to be more goals in it. Hopefully not against Blackburn. What do they have to do to get back into this game?
They have to put Bayer Leverkusen early under pressure, and what he did now, Benny McCarthy or Roberts have to drop a little bit deeper into the midfield to be available, and then to play wide to the right side or left side to Bentley and Dunn. And they have to work a little bit harder, especially in the central midfield, because Haggui and Mokoena have to dominate the game, and they don't do it in the moment.
Thanks very much.
Dunn can't get beyond the right fullback. Gonzalo Castro, just 19 years of age, already in the German under-21 setup. A couple of these lads played against England recently in that under-21 qualifier, which the English came through, of course. It was Rolfes. He is the anchor man in the midfield, in the centre, Simon Rolfes, former Werder Bremen man.
Mark Hughes has a couple of players warming up here, John, in the moment. I'm sure he's thinking that maybe to give them that extra boost going into the last third of the game, a substitution might be ready.
Yeah, Shabani Nonda in particular is down there, the Congolese international. No point in chasing that. That was confusion there between Kiessling and Barbarez. There's also a young German on the Blackburn bench, believe it or not, Sergio Peter, who is 20 years of age and has never played in a club game in Germany. It was extraordinary, really. He's played a national game. Oh dear, this is opening up once again. They've been caught out here, but offside Schneider. But just is good enough.
Well, again, that came from a poor ball to Dunn, and Dunn just can't get to the pace of the game at the moment, John. I think it might have been Castro who ran away from him. And,
it was, yeah.
And quite honestly, that Castro's too quick and strong for Dunn in his present fitness levels.
A full stretch cleared by Haggui. I think we've already made the point, and I'm not trying to labour it, Joe, but we haven't really seen the best of two guy tonight, are they? Because he can be massively influential.
He's very quiet. Whether it's the makeup of the midfield in there, which hasn't suited him, but I can't see that. I've seen him really get hold of the ball and dominate this game, and it's not as if Leverkusen are playing a man marker on him.
He just ran straight into the man there, didn't he, Warnock? And there is Shabani Nonda. So perhaps we are going to see him, and perhaps we are going to see Sergio Peter as well. The other options for Mark Hughes are Kiessling, the Georgian international, Andy Todd, and my sympathies, by the way, you'll understand this, to his dad Colin, who was sacked by Bradford City on Monday. I don't know, there's hardly a day goes by without a manager getting the bullet these days.
I think the life is about 13 months at the moment for a manager in the lower division.
Yeah, that's right. In the Championship, I think there are 6 who were there at the end of last season. We are informed that David Dunn, in fact, has just about come to the end of his evening's work. As Friedel belts the ball as far as he can. Up for Roberts. Was he fouled? No, he was not. So it's McCarthy. Early chance to register for Blackburn. Couldn't take it, but he's still up there alongside Jason Roberts. Dunn is still involved with the ball out here to Emerton. They could open the home side up here. If Emerton or Dunn can find a piercing pass. There are two across the centre, and there's confusion certainly, and McCarthy came. It's punched away by Butt, and it's such a good punch it finds his own man Schneider out there.
Certainly Blackburn's best possession of the half, but a number of passes together and a very teasing cross there from Dunn. If he is going off, he sort of leaves on a high with that cross because it was an excellent chance for them.
Yeah, I can see Sergio Peter down there, so he certainly is coming on. This one's over the top. He's given offside, and that will enable the switch to be made, and it is. We got that one right. It is David Dunn, and I don't think he'll have any complaints. In fact, he'll probably be grateful.
No, he's blowing in. He's obviously way short of his fitness best.
And Peter coming on, as I say, is an under-21 player who has never played a club game in his home country, which is extraordinary that he should be doing so for Blackburn Rovers.
I hate to admit it, John, but we're both totally in the dark about it.
Well, I told you, he's played a few games this season for Blackburn. He's had a few games, but he's not played here.
Yeah.
He's taken up a role on the left side of midfield. It's like for like where Dunn was. That's where Peter's gone. There they are. Those in the red and white and black of Bayer Leverkusen, enjoying their evening's football and certainly happy with the scoreline. It's been their best performance in Europe, no doubt about that, this season.
They've been much improved from when they played Spurs, that's for sure.
Yep. They started off convincingly against Sion of Switzerland, but they're not one of the big fish in the European pool. A goalless draw away and a 3-1 win here. Identical scoreline at the moment, but since then a draw in Bruges, a defeat by Spurs, a loss in Bucharest to Dinamo, and a win against Besiktas here by 2-1. So this definitely is their best showing.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Nonda on very soon as well. They need to do something a little bit different up front. Where neither McCarthy nor Roberts have had their best nights tonight. And there has been opportunities, there has been chances for them.
Right from the word go when that David Bentley cross whizzed through the penalty area. McCarthy just does get the better, does he, here, of the midfielder Rolfes. Eventually he will, but he'll concede a free kick. He's become a very popular player in his first season at Ewood Park.
Great return, goals-wise. That's all strikers are judged on, really.
15.
Right around the standard.
To Callsen-Bracker. Takes it back from Ramelow. And the coach there, Michael Skibber, who played at Schalke, but his injury was cut short. His career was cut short by injury. It seems to happen to a lot. Warnock firing it down the touchline, and well, he got away with that. That was a bit of inexperience, I think, from Callsen-Bracker. It was a rash clearance, but it fortunately went to one of his own. So Schneider. What a workhorse he is, Schneider. And he's got one goal. He's not going to get a second from that movement anyway. So McCarthy. Went for Bentley, who's had a quieter second half. He had one nice little run early on and a shot into the crowd. He's up there now, however, with Roberts. Emerton. Still Emerton. And, the ball spins fortuitously for Blackburn this time. So they'll keep the move going through Roberts. McCarthy's across the centre. And the switch here, and you're right, Joe, it is going to be Shabani Nonda. There's 133 caps for Congo. Well, he wasn't actually born in that country. He was once the top scorer in French football in an entire season, well over 20 goals that year.
And I'm sure Jason Roberts will be better for the outing again, you know, feeling his way back to full fitness.
So the announcement is made for the benefit of the spectators. We've got a man down injured at the moment, so he can take his time to come on. The referee over there, Mr. Vink, just seeing what's happened to Babic.
Certainly a big physical presence here. You see Nonda.
And that's the way the third goal went in. It was a deft little flick, wasn't it? I did say deft and cute. And that's how Babic picked up the injury for which he's being treated at the moment. Just pulled up quite sharply, really.
Very little contact.
And Leverkusen, of course, haven't made a switch as yet. Now, there's one name on their bench that you might remember if you're an Arsenal fan. There's nothing happening on the game, so don't worry about it. There's a lad called Papadopulos. I'm sure you remember him, Joe, at Arsenal. Played once against Wolves. That's a good German name, isn't it? Papadopulos.
The German game's very cosmopolitan now. I think they probably have more Brazilians in their league than Brazil.
Yeah, you're dead right. Babic is okay. He's getting wet, just like everybody else down there. Poor old Stefan and John getting absolutely drenched on the touchline. I do feel for them. They look quite calm, actually, and cool and dry. Ooh, they were getting caught square there, Blackburn. Good job that one didn't get through to Kiessling, although Kiesling's wasted 2 good chances in this half. 20 minutes to go here in the Bayer Arena. It is Bayer Leverkusen 3, Blackburn Rovers 1. So a goal feast, which we hope will continue tomorrow night when we move over to Belgium to see Zulte Waregem. Waregem, I should pronounce it, against Newcastle United. You can see that on 5 tomorrow evening at 7:15. The game kicks off at 7:45. So in the second of our double billing, it's Zulte Waregem against Newcastle United. The game actually is being played, though, in Ghent, because, surprise, surprise, Waregem Stadium is a little bit too small to stage such a magnificent match. Well played. Well, I do understand that we're going to hear later this evening, before the end of the show, from that great Belgian player, Philippe Albert. What about that goal he once scored against Manchester United? Could do with a goal here. Warnock's teed it up for Nonda. Well, flashed in, but Peter's shot doesn't get beyond the shins of the first opponent. Well, Blackburn scarves and Leverkusen scarves all raised together.
It's a strange game for their fans tonight, John, because I don't think Blackburn have played badly to be 3-1 behind, and they've certainly had opportunities. But it's certainly not the results at the moment that they would have been anticipating coming over here.
And those English supporters there have not seen a defensive match, that's for certain, for which we're very grateful. There are some big teams, you know, left in this UEFA Cup this season. Also playing tonight. What about this one? This is a heavyweight contest. Werder Bremen against Ajax. That's taking place here in Germany this evening. Emerton again. The likes of Shakhtar Donetsk, Bordeaux, Osasuna, they're all still in. And Rangers, let's not forget our Scottish friends. Let's see what happens here as the ball is headed out for a throw-in. Benfica are still in the competition. They play tonight against Dinamo Bucharest. Rangers away in Israel at Hapoel Tel Aviv. That's a better ball. That's the best ball 2 guys played all evening, and that's not a bad one either. That's just dealt with by Callsen-Bracker. I said that Jan Ingvar Callsen-Bracker is one of the longest names. I remember Forbes, Phillips and Masters at Southampton. That was another good name, wasn't it?
Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink.
Those stretches. And the longest one of all was a chap called Sinai Surya Jatarapatrapong, who played for Thailand. Not a lot of people know that, or worry about it. Two-guy. He's trying to measure the passes. Suddenly he's been given a bit more rain, maybe.
Yeah, but it's too straight and it's from too deep. They need to get into better areas before they're playing the ball in behind, because certainly on a wet surface, a long straight ball's only going to skid through anyway.
Hans-George Butt, the top scoring goalkeeper in Europe, by the way. He's actually scored 26 goals for his club sides over here, but most of them penalties. A bit of a rough and tumble here for Kiessling. Onto the track. He won't have hurt himself down there. And the home fans will be delighted if the scoreline remains unchanged, but Blackburn might have a chance to do something about that here now. Nonda and McCarthy are racing up in support of Bentley. Emerton's on his outside. Bentley goes for goal himself, actually blocked by his own man Nonda.
I think he's made the wrong decision there, John, with Emerton roaring down the touchline, play him in, because this shot getting blocked the way it did has put him out of the game somewhat.
So the only danger Blackburn have got, and obviously they want to go and get a second goal, is they could just leave themselves exposed to a break.
Yeah, it looks to me at the moment as if Leverkusen have somewhat settled for their 2-goal victory at the moment, so that there is a chance, but as you say, a 4th goal would be disastrous for Mark Hughes and his side.
Certainly would. The word on Robbie Savage is that he may come back before the end of the season. That's Voronin. His season is definitely going to see him move on in the summer, says your Peter. He's done okay there. He's got a throw in for his side. And whoopsie daisy, up and over you go. He's having some problems over here, Kiessling. He wasn't hurt a minute ago when he hit the shale. He's certainly hurt here by the advertising hoarding, trying to hurdle it.
Had a couple of adventures down this touchline. And
well, he's swinging his arm around now, so he's going to be all right. Yeah, a bit dangerous, that, wasn't it? At least he avoided our cameraman down there. Free kick for the home side, who lead by 3-1 against Blackburn Rovers. Nice to see Rovers back in Europe again this season. They did make the Champions League, of course. I remember Mike Newell getting the fastest hat-trick in European Champions League history.
always been a very friendly, homely Lancashire club. Even when they were flying high in Premier League champions, there was never any edge about Blackburn Rovers.
No, I think that hat-trick came against Rosenborg, the Norwegian side for Mike Newell. A long time ago, though, 1995. 12 years is a long time in football.
No female linesman either.
No. The skill, he's not hurt, is he? Kiessling, if he is, he's not showing it from that fall he had a moment or two ago, the tumble. Mokoena. The other South African besides Benny McCarthy in this lineup, both of them World Cup stars. Friedel now.
I wonder if Mark Hughes is considering one more substitution here. You can see Gallagher warming up on the touchline, a forward player who has scored goals.
And he does need a goal here, doesn't he, Mark Hughes? So, OK, 2-0 will be good enough for them next week, but he'd rather have only to get one goal. Gallagher's, he's got a couple this season. Scored against two of your old clubs, Manchester City and Everton. Warnock, it's nice to steer it away.
Had a great loan spell, John, at Stoke as well, and did a really good job there. Scored some goals coming in from the left, Gallagher.
He did, he got 11. And then went back. It's good experience for players to go out on loan. David Bentley was one we were talking about earlier. Yeah, there's Francis Jeffers. One of those forgotten men of football in a way. Of course, you know all about him from Everton days, Joe, and then I don't know, it's just never quite worked out for him, has he, with his various moves? Arsenal, Charlton Athletic.
No, he was the fox in the box who could certainly be guaranteed a goal, but I think a succession of ankle injuries has, at the moment, somewhat dulled his powers, and a lack of opportunity in recent years, John.
Very much so. So it's a squad game. Not everybody can play every week. And sadly, there are people like Jeffers who get very little football nowadays. Well, we're going to have some football and some defending to do here at Blackburn. This is Voronin. There's movement ahead and alongside. There is Ramelow coming forward, and there is Castro coming forward. Castro continues to get up there as well. Kiessling! And it's the fingertips of Friedel that make sure that Blackburn don't concede a fourth goal.
Good play there from Leverkusen, a great build-up with, again, the pace and power of Castro involved, and a good strike from Kiessling. Hard angle to score against Brad Friedel, but he's taken no chances with it at the near post and just palmed it out for a corner.
Critical moment of the game, this. A corner for the home side, who are 2 goals to the good already. Schneider will take. And there are 5 red shirts racing, darting around in there, but that's a routine catch for the American. Fairly weak header.
I think disappointment second half, really, that Blackburn haven't continued the danger that they had in the first half, where there were a succession of good crosses that we haven't had that from the second half. In fact, the goalkeeper there, Mr. Butt, has been mostly redundant.
You're right. We had a shot early in the half from Bentley, which went rising very high over the crossbar. And Butt has had very little to do since then. Kiessling has worked hard. He comes back there, and thankfully Stefan Arnshaw has got long legs. Bentley. Oh, that plays team into trouble here. Taken away from him by Voronin. It's rolled into Schneider. And they concentrated well, the defence. Now it's 2 guy, and he's able to look up, and he's finding a pass here for Nonda. Rolled in field by McCarthy. It's the longer ball in here, which Peter has to juggle with. Just didn't sit up as he wanted, so Warnock flicks one through into the gap, but from the penalty spot it is cleared by Haggui.
Again, they've just got to take a little bit more care with the ball around the Leverkusen box to give the forwards a decent chance, a decent service.
They've 10 minutes left in which to find a second goal. Damage limitation then at 3-2. That's got out.
Well, at 3-2, if we can get it to 3-2, I think that still makes Blackburn strong favourites for this tie.
And I think I've just seen Mark Hughes signal down the touchline, presumably to Gallagher to get himself ready. I don't know, but it's a possibility. Here's a shot which comes whistling in from Nonda. Well, the keeper has had a save to make now. Well, I think everybody who's come and paid their euros here tonight has enjoyed themselves. Even though the Blackburn fans won't be totally disheartened, because I think they'll realise their side is capable of winning this one in the second leg. They just don't want to have another goal to have to make up. Voronin. He's blocked off by Arnshaw, who simply put his shoulder in there. It was a good old-fashioned shoulder charge, was that? And the referee doesn't like the way Voronin's reacted.
He has been outstanding, by the way. I make no excuses for praising him to the skies, because he's been on every situation. He's never been more than a few yards away, and he's not got cards out. He's not run the game by cards, but he's been right on top of the job. Well done. Yeah,
well done, Peter Fink. With 10 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go, plus a couple to be added on makes it the 10. Mark Hughes still making decisions. You never stop as a manager, do you, throughout that 90 minutes?
Well, he's thinking all the time. He's looking, he knows his players, he knows their fitness levels, he knows their probability or possibility of a goal. He's got one more card to play if he wants to in the last 10 minutes.
Well, one back by Mokoena there. Peter is a very left-footed player, as we can see. It's our first glimpse of him on 5. Mokoena. Oh, he's played nicely to win the free kick there. It's been played in a very good spirit, this match. We haven't had a single booking, have we? We're going to get a glimpse of Paul Freier, the player that Joe Royle referred to earlier, as a bit slick, I think. Was the word. He came on against Tottenham Hotspur and was very sharp. Oh, that's not sharp. That's giving the ball away, though thankfully 2 guy manages to put out a leg and win it back again. Peter. Bentley, who got that cracking goal in the first half. When it went to 1-1, you really have very high hopes for Blackburn to get a good result here. Well, they've not been able to do what Tottenham Hotspur did, which was to keep a clean sheet. the substitution which will be made in a moment will see the end of Kiessling's night, and I'm not surprised. He's taken a bit of a battering one way and another.
He's written off a couple of hoardings, that's for sure, but he's worked very, very hard tonight, Kiessling, and you know, he's been very constant up front for Leverkusen.
Popular player, 23-year-old Stefan Kiessling, signing from Nürnberg in the summer. He's just making his mark here at Leverkusen, but he gives way now to a 27-year-old international who's got into the German national team since the World Cup finals. Came back against Cyprus recently, so off goes Kiessling, on comes Paul Freier. Ooh, there's a little stumble there from Tugai, almost gifted the ball back. Voronin has a shot. And Nonda. Bentley back, Emerton. It's some width here, and they get it supplied by Warnock. But, Joe Roll's right that Blackburn haven't created as much in the second half as they did in the first, and yet you still have feelings that they could just get a second. Well, McCarthy was in there. They've still got the ball in play for Warnock to continue to drive in, and he'll have a free kick here. It's the first contribution of the substitute, Freier, and it's to give Blackburn a free kick. Now, we saw Leverkusen have a free kick in this sort of an area.
You see here the cross coming down. It's a great cross, and the defender just eases, I think it's Castro, just eases Nonda under. You know, it's one of those where forwards are looking for a penalty.
Yep.
And you see there the free kick, which we hope gives Blackburn a great chance now.
They've got 5 across there. Inevitably, the big fellas like Nelsen and Henchoz will be up. Only one left back. Here's the ball flashing across the area. There might just be an opening here. Oh, they scored the second. It was Shabani Nonda with a whack of the right boot, crashing it into the roof of the Leverkusen net. We did say they got more goals in them, and they know that's a critical strike here, and it's stunned the Germans. It's 3-2, and Shabani Nonda has got his first goal in the UEFA Cup for Blackburn Rovers.
Well, they never got the ball clear here. You see the ball's back in, and there's no dominating header at all from Leverkusen. The ball's fallen nicely, and what a strike from Nonda. What a strike. Great substitution from Mark Hughes. You see, I think it's Mokoena here wins the first header, flicked on. Credit Nonda, that's great technique. Again, a deflection. Certainly the goals have been a little bit scrappy at times in this game. You see Friedel's joy at the goal, because Blackburn can now go on and draw this game.
Well, Shabani Nonda, he's up there again as a man who, well, the shirts are coming off there, but he's a man who once cost just close to £15 million when Monaco signed him from Rennes. I saw him score a goal this season up at Middlesbrough, up at the Riverside, and he's got 2 against them this year. He's got 2 against Arsenal. He knows the way to the net, all right.
Certainly, he, like Benny McCarthy, is a forward who seems to have been coming to to our country for a long time now, and he's made a big play tonight, you know, to say, hey, you know, give me a chance. He's shown a little bit of danger, a little bit of strength since he's come on.
Yeah, you've got to say, Blackburn, we've mentioned already this evening, without Morton, Gams-Pedeston and without young Derbyshire, they're short of some attacking talent, but they've got, you know, players out there still capable of scoring goals for them, as Nonda has just proved.
I think also very relevant, John, that Dunn, Roberts and Nelsen are all coming back from major injuries, you know, from long time out. So
Roberts, it
all counts up against them.
Now, don't give another one away now. 2.5 minutes to go, plus the added time. What's going on here? Benny McCarthy's having a little push and a shove, and it was Barbarez, the home player involved. I was saying that the referee hasn't had to sort anything out, has he, really, tonight? And then all of a sudden, it just sparked up.
I hope he's not going to do anything silly here. There's been a bit of pushing and pulling, nothing more.
It's a yellow card for Mokoena, and it's a yellow card for Barbarez.
You can see here, there's always a bit of a scrummage these days, isn't it? Male bonding, really, it's not.
That's your way of putting it. It is Valentine's Day again, yeah. Free kick for Leverkusen. Barbarez was there, but a flying header to get the ball to safety from Ryan Nelsen. Served his side well there, the captain of New Zealand. But Joe, what a significant goal in the overall context of the tie that one is from Nonda. 3-2 sounds a whole sight better than 3-1.
Well, the 2 away goals, I think, make Blackburn strong favourites for the second leg now. You don't want to put them under too much pressure, but...
And I'm sure Colin and Pat have enjoyed it in the studio. And Pat will have his final verdict on this game. But it's been a thriller for you. I hope that you'll join us again for that Newcastle United game in Ghent tomorrow against Zulte Waregem.
John, we've got 5 goals. You and I were discussing the systems we expected at lunchtime today, and I think we would have settled for 5 shots. So
5 goals is a bonus. It would have been nice if it had been 3-2 to Blackburn, probably, but let's give credit where credit's due. Leverkusen have had some good attacking moments in this match, and they'll look to prosper again here now with Castro and with Ramelow, the man who was credited with the second of tonight's German goals. Castro once again. Ramelow now. Vital that Blackburn do not give away another goal, and Ramelow was in there, if only just being able to control the ball. It spun away from his shin.
3 times in that move, the old fox Schneider played telling balls, and his last one was the most telling, but Ramelow, being a defensive player, just didn't quite control it.
3 minutes of added time, and Marquez standing alongside Andy Todd, who may just come on in that 3 minutes that we have to see played out. But Nonda is racing up to the edge of the area onto McCarthy's header. He's put himself about. Oh, he's limping now. Nonda just got caught there by Rolfes.
I think the consideration of Todd tells you that Mark has decided to take 3-2.
Oh, definitely. Get a defender on. Just make sure you don't concede a 4th. Utterly vital. Steered down into the path here of Freier. Still Freier, and he's caught, as he was caught there by Nonda as he backtracked. And Todd will come on for these closing moments in place of Mokoena. So there's about 2 minutes of action for Andy Todd, and Mark Hughes will have said, don't you dare let them score within these 2 minutes that you've got. And here's your defender, of course, the former Bolton and Charlton man.
He's a ringer for his dad, isn't he?
Absolutely. The younger ringer. Away it goes. Ramelow tries to latch onto it. Nonda will. And Blackburn are 4 going forward in unison here. Could they really spring a surprise? Well, if you'd have played it left, Warnock was in. Or Peter, rather, would have been in. Just a very quick reprise for you, and I know many of you will have been coming in from work during the course of the afternoon. Bayer Leverkusen took a lead here in the 16th minute with a header from their centre-back, Callsen-Bracker, from a set-piece. David Bentley hit a smashing free kick, which was deflected off Karsten Ramelow to equalise for Blackburn Rovers. But then almost immediately Leverkusen were back in front. Their second goal also a big deflection. Ramelow's effort this time make him feel a bit happier, but it came off Ryan Nelsen. And then in the second half it looked pretty black for Blackburn when a 3rd goal was poached by Schneider, but Mark Hughes made a classic substitution, and the man he brought on, Shabani Nonda, got the 2nd Blackburn goal, which gives us a scoreline of Bayer Leverkusen 3, Blackburn Rovers 2, and I think both sides, Joe Royal, would settle for that as a final scoreline.
They have done now. We're just going through the process, running the clock down, as they say. Travelling band paying homage to Mark Hughes.
Yeah, music to the ears of any manager there.
He's done a great job.
Certainly has. Took over 2.5 years ago that he would part, Mark Hughes. And that's the final score. It's the final whistle.